Why do some people seem to effortlessly build rapport, win trust, and actually achieve their goals, while others just constantly seem to struggle? Is there some kind of timeless secret, maybe a fundamental understanding of what truly motivates people that makes all the difference? Today, we're embarking on a deep dive into one of the most influential self-help books ever written, Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. And this isn't just about superficial charm or slick tactics, right? It's about a profound, genuine understanding of human nature. Our mission here is to extract the absolute most important nuggets of knowledge, the key insights from this classic book, basically providing you with a shortcut to being well-informed on its enduring principles. And here's something pretty unique. You're actually listening to a dynamic, two-voice AI conversation powered by Google's NotebookLM. It's designed for, well, deeper, more insightful analysis of these kinds of transformative ideas. So let's maybe start at the beginning. Let's unpack the surprising origins of this phenomenon. Dale Carnegie, born way back in 1888. He really came from the humblest of beginnings.
Yeah, it's quite the story.
We're talking poverty on a Missouri farm. But somehow, he just defied all of that to become this incredibly compelling speaker and a best-selling author whose work is still, massively read today.
It is a fascinating backstory, and the book truly didn't just appear out of thin air. It emerged directly from these very practical business education courses. Carnegie had actually been teaching in New York since, 1912?
Right, for a long time beforehand.
Exactly. And these weren't just, theoretical lectures. He was out there teaching public speaking and, crucially, human relations to real people trying to get ahead in business and life. The story goes that a publisher, Leon Shimkin, actually took one of Carnegie's intensive, 14-week courses.
Oh, really? He was a student?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And apparently he was just so utterly captivated by the lessons and their immediate impact that he convinced Carnegie, maybe persuaded him is a better word, to let a stenographer capture his teachings verbatim for publication. And that's really how this iconic work first saw the light of day.
Wow. And the success was just instantaneous, wasn't it? Truly phenomenal.
Oh, completely.
That initial run, I think it was 5,000 copies, sold out almost immediately, and it went through an astonishing 17 editions in its very first year alone.
17. It just completely exploded onto the scene.
Incredible numbers.
And if we look at the bigger picture, the financial and cultural impact is just staggering. By August 1937, so barely a year after its release, Carnegie had already earned $125,000 from the book.
Which back then was.
Well, if you adjust for inflation, that's well over $2 million today. Huge money.
Wow.
But really, beyond the money, it has sold over 30 million copies worldwide. It's solidified its place as one of the best-selling nonfiction books of all time. Time magazine recognized its significance too, ranking it number 19 on their 2011 list of the 100 most influential nonfiction books.
Number 19, that's high.
It is, and it continues to sell in the six figures annually, even now. So this all raises a critical question, right? Why? Why this enduring relevance decades after it was written?
It's wild to think about, isn't it? I think its lasting popularity connects directly to something profoundly timeless about human nature itself. The book isn't built on, fleeting trends or cultural moments. It addresses these fundamental, universal desires that we all share. The desire for recognition, for respect, and maybe above all, to feel important.
That feeling of significance.
Exactly. It's not just some passing fad. I mean, its influence has truly permeated society. It's touched figures from investing giant Warren Buffett.
Right. Buffett's a famous example.
Yeah, he credits Carnegie's course, which he took when he was just 20, with transforming his confidence. And then you have contemporary leaders like Oprah Winfrey, Joel Osteen. Their messages often echo what's been called Carnegie's gospel of sunny reinvention.
That's a great phrase for it.
So with that historical context set, let's now dive into the foundational philosophy of this book. Carnegie, he boils down the art of handling people to three surprisingly simple, yet incredibly powerful core principles.
He really does simplify it in a profound way. The first principle, and maybe the most challenging one for many of us, is don't criticize, condemn, or complain.
Sounds easy.
But isn't. Right. It sounds deceptively simple, but how often do we actually catch ourselves before doing exactly that? Carnegie was tapping into something deep here. Criticism is almost always futile.
Why futile?
Because it immediately puts people on the defensive. It triggers their natural urge to justify themselves, to protect their ego. He famously noted, and this is key, When dealing with people, we are not dealing with creatures of logic, but with creatures of emotion.
Creatures of emotion, that explains a lot.
It does. It's not about winning a logical argument. It's about understanding that pointing out a flaw often just reinforces it rather than changing behavior. The alternative, he advocates, is trying to understand others' motivations, their perspectives, rather than immediately judging or blaming.
That's huge because it really does fly in the face of our natural inclination to point out what's wrong, to correct people. So, okay, if we're not criticizing, what's the positive counterpart? What should we be doing?
Well, the second core principle directly addresses that. Give honest and sincere appreciation. Carnegie identified this as, quote, the big secret of dealing with people.
The big secret.
The big secret. He understood that everyone, absolutely everyone, from the CEO down to the janitor, has this deep, universal craving to feel important, to feel valued. And he wasn't talking about empty flattery here. He actually condemned that quite strongly. He meant specific, honest praise for genuine effort or real achievement.
Specific and honest. Okay.
Exactly. It's a powerful tool for acknowledgement and for motivating people to truly excel because it taps into that primal human desire to be seen and valued for who we are and what we do.
Okay, so don't criticize, give sincere appreciation. And what's the third pillar?
And then the third principle, which is really the cornerstone of influence, arouse in the other person an eager want.
An eager want. Tell me more.
This is where the magic of genuine influence happens, according to Carnegie. He put it very succinctly. The only way on earth to influence other people is talk about what they want and show them how to get it.
Focus on that.
Completely flips the script. Instead of focusing on what you want and how they can help you get it, which is our usual approach, right? It shifts the entire focus to their desires, their needs. And then you show them how your idea or your request helps them achieve what they already want. It's about finding that alignment, not using coercion or pressure.
These principles really are foundational, aren't they? Simple on the surface, maybe, but they require deep, mindful application in the moment.
Absolutely. Constant practice.
It's actually why we often delve into these kinds of complex ideas in our Mindful Moments segments. You can find those over on our YouTube channel. They're designed specifically to help you reflect on these powerful insights and think about how they apply. Okay, now let's move into the truly practical, strategic approaches Carnegie outlines for building rapport and fostering genuinely positive relationships. This is where it gets really interesting. He gives us 6 key ways to make people like you.
Absolutely. Think of these as your basic toolkit for connection. First, and this is foundational, become genuinely interested in other people.
Genuinely interested, not faking it.
Exactly. It sounds obvious, but it's about authentic curiosity, not just pretending to listen while you wait to talk. People can usually tell the difference, you know?
Okay, what's next?
Second, smile. Simple, right? But it's a universal signal. It creates warmth, makes you appear approachable, positive. It's inviting.
True. A smile goes a long way.
Third, and this one is powerful, remember that a person's name is to that person the sweetest and most important sound in any language. Using someone's name frequently and correctly shows immense respect and value. It says, I see you.
Yeah, that name one always hits me. It's such a simple act, but it instantly makes you feel seen, acknowledged. What else is in the toolkit?
Fourth, be a good listener. And importantly, encourage others to talk about themselves. This demonstrates that genuine interest we talked about and makes the other person feel important. Let's face it, most people are just waiting for their turn to speak. Good listeners really stand out.
Good listeners are rare.
They are. Fifth, talk in terms of the other person's interests. If you find out what they care about, what they're passionate about, you have a direct path to developing stronger, more meaningful connections. It shows you've paid attention.
Makes sense. Find common ground based on their ground.
Precisely. And finally, sixth, make the other person feel important and do it sincerely. This ties right back to that universal desire for appreciation we discussed. Genuine recognition builds lasting, positive relationships, not just fleeting ones based on charm.
Okay, so we've talked about making people like you, which definitely sets the stage. But what happens when you need to actually influence them, when you need to shift their perspective, perhaps, to align with yours, and crucially do it without creating resistance or animosity?
Yes, that's the next level.
That's where things get really nuanced. And Carnegie offers some, well, masterful strategies. He gives us 12 principles for winning people to your way of thinking. 12.
Definitely. This is where you move from just building rapport to actually influencing outcomes. And let's start with some of the most counterintuitive ones, the ones that really challenge how we normally operate. 1, the only way to get the best of an argument is to avoid it.
Avoid it entirely.
Avoid it.
Yeah.
Seriously, like the plague. Arguments rarely, if ever, change minds, and they almost always damage the relationship, sometimes permanently.
Okay, hard but noted. What's 2?
2. Show genuine respect for the other person's opinions. Never say you're wrong, even if you think they are. This is just crucial for maintaining their dignity and keeping the door open for discussion. Shutting them down with "you're wrong" just closes that door.
Avoids making them defensive again.
Exactly. And 3, related to that. If you are wrong, admit it quickly and emphatically. Don't hedge. Just own it. This completely disarms people, it builds trust, and ironically, it makes them more open to your perspective when you are right later on.
Wow, okay. Avoiding argument, never saying you're wrong, admitting your own mistakes. That feels so against our natural instinct, doesn't it? We're often taught to debate, to prove our point.
We are.
But he's saying that's basically a dead end for influence. It almost implies the goal isn't necessarily to win the point in that moment, but maybe to preserve the relationship or create an opening for influence later.
Precisely. It's about playing the long game, focusing on the bigger picture, the relationship. So, next in his advice, number 4. Begin in a friendly way. Always. Set a positive, open tone right from the outset, no matter the topic.
Start warm. Got it.
5. Get the other person saying yes, yes immediately. This is the Socratic method, essentially. Build small agreements early on to create positive momentum and a cooperative atmosphere.
Little agreements lead to bigger ones.
Potentially. And 6, let the other person do a great deal of the talking. This demonstrates respect, it gathers crucial information about their perspective, and importantly, it allows them to feel heard and understood. Don't dominate the conversation.
Yeah, I can see how that yes, yes technique could gently nudge a conversation forward without feeling like pressure and letting them talk.
Yeah.
That's so powerful for actually understanding their true motivations, not just what they say first. Okay, what about when you're trying to introduce your idea into this?
Right, that leads nicely to the next set of principles. 7, let the other person feel that the idea is his or hers.
Ooh, that's clever.
It is, but it needs sincerity. People are far more committed to ideas they believe they helped create or originate. Gently guide them there, perhaps?
Instead of just presenting it fully formed.
Exactly. 8th, try honestly to see things from the other person's point of view. Empathy isn't just nice, it's the absolute foundation for genuine cooperation and understanding. You have to try to see where they're coming from.
Really put yourself in their shoes.
You have to. 9th, be sympathetic with the other person's ideas and desires. Acknowledge their feelings, validate their perspective, even if you don't fully agree with their conclusion. Saying something like, "I can see why you'd feel that way," builds deep rapport.
So it's about validating their perspective before you even try to share yours. That's a huge shift from how most of us approach disagreements, isn't it? We usually jump right in with our counterargument.
We do. It takes discipline to hold back.
Okay.
Okay, the final few principles for winning people over. 10th, appeal to the nobler motives.
Nobler motives? Like what?
Connect your arguments to higher values, things like fairness, justice, integrity, service. People like to believe they're acting for good, honorable reasons. Frame your request in those terms.
Make them feel good about agreeing.
In a sense, yes. 11th, dramatize your ideas. Don't just state dry facts. Make your points vivid, engaging. Tell a story. Use an analogy. Make it memorable. Appeal to emotions as well as logic.
Bring it to life.
Exactly. And 12th, throw down a challenge. Appeal to people's natural competitive spirit or their desire to excel, to prove themselves. People are often motivated by the thrill of overcoming an obstacle or meeting a high standard.
Interesting. A challenge, not a demand. It's incredible how these principles, developed so long ago, really map so perfectly onto what modern psychology tells us about persuasion and influence.
It really is prescient stuff.
Now let's turn to the final section of the book, which focuses specifically on effective leadership and, crucially, how to change people, offer constructive feedback, guide improvement, without giving offense or arousing that resentment we talked about. Because that's arguably the hardest thing to do in any relationship, personal or professional, right?
It absolutely is. Giving criticism, even when necessary, is fraught with peril. Carnegie offers 9 principles here that are still, frankly, foundational in modern management and leadership training. First, begin with praise and honest appreciation. Always, always start difficult conversations on a positive note. Acknowledge something good first.
Cushion the blow, so to speak.
Or rather, establish goodwill first. Second, call attention to people's mistakes indirectly. This means addressing errors without direct, blunt confrontation or public humiliation, which just breeds resentment and defensiveness.
How do you do that indirectly?
For example, instead of saying, you messed up this report, you might say, I noticed a couple of areas in this report we might be able to strengthen for next time. It's softer, less accusatory.
Okay, less personal.
Exactly. Third, talk about your own mistakes before criticizing the other person. Share a time you made a similar error. Demonstrating vulnerability makes your feedback far more acceptable and relatable. It shows you're not perfect either.
That's a brave one, putting yourself out there first like that. Take some humility. What else does he advise for leading people through change or correction?
Fourth, ask questions instead of giving direct orders. Instead of do this, try, what do you think about trying this approach? This encourages participation, buys ownership of the solution, rather than just demanding compliance.
Makes them part of the solution finding.
Yes. Fifth, let the other person save face. Always, always protect their dignity, especially when they've made a mistake or need to change course. Humiliation is a powerful demotivator and relationship killer. Find a way for them to maintain respect.
Never corner someone.
Never. Sixth, praise the slightest improvement and praise every improvement. Consistent, genuine, positive reinforcement builds confidence and encourages continued growth and effort.
Yeah.
Don't wait for perfection to praise.
That's so important for fostering a growth mindset, isn't it? It's not just about the big wins, but recognizing and encouraging the progress along the way.
Oh.
Little steps.
Exactly right. Seventh, give the other person a fine reputation to live up to. Set positive expectations. Saying something like, I know you're usually so meticulous with details, before pointing out an oversight, encourages them to return to that standard. People often rise to meet the positive expectations you set for them.
Assume the best in them.
To an extent, yes. Eighth, use encouragement. Make the fault seem easy to correct. Frame the needed improvement as an achievable goal, not some insurmountable problem. With a little focus here, I know you can nail this.
Build their confidence that they can fix it.
Precisely. And the ninth and final leadership principle, make the other person happy about doing the thing you suggest. How? By framing your requests and suggestions in terms of their desires, their interests, and the benefits they will gain from doing it, connect it back to their eager want.
Wow. Okay, putting it all together, it's truly fascinating here is how Carnegie's central message consistently revolves around this deep understanding of human nature, particularly the fundamental need people have to feel valued, respected, important. But, when you hear influence people, your mind might still jump to manipulation. How does Carnegie, or how should we, truly distinguish his approach from just a set of clever tricks to get what you want?
That's a really crucial distinction, and it's one Carnegie himself is very clear about, actually. He stressed repeatedly that these principles should never be seen as mere tricks or manipulative tactics. He framed them as a genuine way of life that requires absolute sincerity, deep empathy, and authentic concern for others.
So the intent matters enormously.
Critically, the goal isn't to trick someone into doing something against their will or interests. It's to build trust and mutual respect, and then help them see how their own desires, their own goals, might align with your suggestions or requests. His work really laid the groundwork for so much of what we now recognize and label as emotional intelligence, or EQ.
Ah, interesting connection.
Yeah, and effective leadership theory, too. His emphasis on empathy, active listening, positive reinforcement. These are foundational pillars in modern management theory, not just, old school salesmanship. It's much deeper than just techniques.
So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you, listening right now? I think the book's core insight remains profoundly relevant, maybe more than ever. By genuinely caring about others, really striving to understand their perspectives, and consistently helping them feel truly important and valued.
Right.
Well, we can build stronger, more authentic relationships and become far more effective in pretty much all our personal and professional interactions.
Absolutely. As Carnegie so powerfully demonstrated all those years ago, the path to true, sustainable influence lies not in coercion or clever tactics or winning arguments. It lies in authentic human connection and mutual respect. And having this knowledge, internalizing these principles, really empowers you to navigate your interactions at home, at work, everywhere with greater skill, deeper empathy, and ultimately genuine effectiveness.
For even more mindful moments like we mentioned, and deeper dives into transformative ideas like these, be sure to check out our other deep dives and also our YouTube channel. If this discussion resonated with you today, please consider subscribing so you don't miss future analyses. Maybe share this particular deep dives with someone you think needs to hear these insights. And, consider picking up How to Win Friends and Influence People for your own library. If you haven't already read it, it's a classic for a reason. But most importantly, perhaps, continue to think critically about how you connect with the people around you every day, and how you might apply even one or two of these principles, to build a more influential and, maybe more importantly, a genuinely connected life.